Taiwanese news can be very dramatic.
最多900毫米，这么多。
But back in the late 2000s, it wasn't just dramatic, it was animated and completely fake. And I don't mean animated like a funny cartoon in order to lighten the mood. No, it used full 3D CGI recreations of scandals.
阿基师其实是要到磨铁教熟女怎么做出一道好吃的黄金蛋炒饭。
Political fights.
阿扁屡次踩红线。
And news events. And they were as wild as you can imagine. From the infamous Tiger Woods cheating scandal.
老虎伍兹撞车。以老婆吃醋酿祸
to huge news world events such as the capture and execution of Osama bin Laden, Taiwan's most infamous newspaper turned real-life news events into something resembling that of a PlayStation game. And people loved it.
There's a Taiwanese animated video about a dispute that you and I had.
But recently it's made me think a little bit about the news that we consume today in 2025 and how back in the late 2000s this CGI recreation of the news was kind of a harmless joke and nobody really got offended by it.
列车开走后，才发现忘了把女儿带下车。
But here's the thing, what seemed like a harmless joke back in the late 2000s seems a lot more relevant today, as in 2025 the news is filled with AI.
I am not Morgan Freeman.
Deepfakes.
Whoever controls the data controls the future.
And fake news.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
We're back to asking the same question, how do we know what's real? We'll get into a little bit more detail of how it compares to modern day news with AI, deepfakes and fake news, but let's rewind a little bit back to the late 2000s and talk about the Apple Daily newspaper. The Apple Daily was a newspaper that originated out of Hong Kong, and we can think about it as kind of like the TMZ of its day. Flashy, sensational headlines, salacious paparazzi photos, and front pages that looked more like comic books than they did the front page of a newspaper. And around about 2008, 2009, somebody within the newspaper had a fantastic / insane idea of if you don't have any footage of a specific news event, then just make your own.
挡不住的强国小孩，飞机走道上大便。
So they bought some cheap 3D animation software, hired a team, and started pumping out 3D recreations of everything. Car accidents, animated.
直接撞上前方小客车。
Celebrity scandals, animated.
老婆追出来
Robberies, kidnapping, murders, all animated too.
载他到偏僻的农场性侵后杀害。
It was journalism with ragdoll physics, and audiences were hooked. So for any of my viewers that haven't seen these animations before, I'll be watching some examples today, reacting to them and sharing my opinions. But also for anybody that has seen them before, which I'm sure a lot of my Taiwanese audience have, then please comment down below, either with your favorite CGI animation or indeed any that you think took it too far. As I will discuss today, some of these CGI animations are very funny, but I also think some of them are a little bit too over the top, a little bit too much, and I'm sure you have your opinions on it. So we're going to get into watching some of them a little bit later, but first, let me say a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, my favorite, Emma Mattresses. Yes, here in Taiwan, mattresses can be hard, but the Emma Hybrid mattress that I've been sleeping soundly on for the past 2 years, completely different. It's made of memory foam that adapts to your body, gives you real back support, and as a middle-aged man approaching his 43rd birthday next week, this mattress is certainly helping me in that fight against age. And despite the fact that I sleep alone most nights, for those of you with partners that like to wriggle around in the middle of the night, the motion isolation technology of the mattress really helps you sleep soundly next to somebody that maybe is a little more active than you are. And at the moment, Emma are offering as much as 50% off the cost of everything on their website as part of their Double 11 early bird sale, which is the biggest discount they've offered all year, giving you the best opportunity to try Emma mattresses for yourself at a really reasonable price. So whether you're looking for a full new set of bedroom furniture at as much as 50% off, or maybe you just want to buy one of their height adjustable memory foam adaptable pillows at as much as 50% off, now is the perfect time. Emma even offer you the opportunity to pay in installments at 0% interest. Check out the link in the description down below and use my code Allan at checkout for an extra 10% off those already huge discounts. Okay, I think that's enough on Emma mattresses. Let's get back to Taiwan's animated chaos, because when you see some of these news stories in 3D CGI recreation, you won't be sleeping anytime soon.
高尔夫球王老虎伍兹经传在美国时间周五凌晨约2点开车撞上这棵树。
I can't even figure out if this is a real helicopter shot or this is CGI.
外传伍兹和老婆当天为这事吵架，老婆抓伤。
Okay, so they've shown him being slapped by his wife. Who knows if that actually happened?
他一气之下开车离家，老婆追出来，还用球杆猛敲车子。伍兹转头查看，一分神就发生这起撞车意外。
They have no idea if he crashed the car because he was looking at his wife, or because he was drunk, or because he was taking medication. All of this is just speculation, and I'm surprised they were allowed to get away with it. I'm sure there are some legal issues that they faced, but yeah, that's the Tiger Woods example, and is probably the most famous example that made it into news back in the UK. I remember watching some TV shows that talked about these Taiwanese animations, and it's probably something that we don't want to be on the map for as Taiwanese people. We would rather be on the map for some positive things that we do in the world. But talking of international recognition for these news stories, there are another couple of very famous examples that made it into modern Western pop culture. The first of which I'll show you right now.
And here he is, this week's Noble Nobody.
What the?
A quiet, unassuming security guard who foiled a robbery at a local tavern, as seen in this Taiwanese animated dramatization.
So there you have the news reporter letting the whole world know that this is a Taiwanese news dramatization. Let's see how ridiculous they make it look.
还来到酒吧把爸爸带走了，然后他们一起歪歪斜斜的开车回家去。
Ridiculous that at that time Taiwan made it into such a huge, popular international TV show for something so embarrassing. But thankfully, these things don't exist anymore. We've just got AI and deepfakes that we'll get into a little bit later. Let's take a look at another example. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure how much of that I can actually show with all the gunshots and the blood, but there you have probably one of the most important news stories of the 21st century, the capture and execution of one of the world's biggest terrorists, and the Taiwanese news just made it into a video game looking animation. Whether or not this is classed as entertainment or news is up for discussion in the comment section down below, but I disagree as to whether or not this should be speculated upon. Things like this should either be documented in first person from the view of those that were actually there, or recounted in later interviews and stories. But to actually animate it and show something so serious that affected the world, I don't think this is good. I don't think it's a good thing. So these examples we've just watched are obviously fake. They're there for entertainment primarily. Whether or not we agree or disagree that they should have existed is up for debate. But cut to 2025 and news media fakery is no joke. Nowadays, just with your cell phone and the AI tools that we can download, you can create images, voices, and of course, even videos that look real and can be used either for deceiving or scamming or tricking people, as has happened in Taiwan quite recently, or the more sinister option is where people use them for political bias and propaganda, and to really promote or smear specific political ideas. And if we talk about Taiwan specifically, recent political elections have been strongly affected by deep fakes, AI, and fake news. Photos have been shared through different line groups of showing politicians attending protests that they simply didn't attend, or saying things that they simply didn't say. And some people are better than others at identifying AI or fake news stories, but there is a large percentage of the population that get their news only from Line, or get their news only from Facebook, or only from Threads. Jesus Christ, Threads is an absolute cesspit at the moment. But yes, there are people that believe everything they see and don't back it up or verify it through other media sources, so it's becoming a big problem. Not only a problem in politics, but also when it comes to scams. I've talked before about how the Taiwanese are often scammed either by other Taiwanese people or by other people from local Asian countries, and deep fake voice calls are a big problem when it comes to this situation, where scammers have used AI voice generators to recreate young family members' voices and give the grandparents a call, crying for help, asking them to send them money, they're in trouble. And of course, the grandparents' first reaction is to help and send money. That's happening right now. So if we compare this situation to the Apple Daily's 3D CGI recreations of the news, well, their animations were a lot more like satire for entertainment, were almost impossible to be taken as real, but the principle was still the same, filling in the blanks where something doesn't exist with something invented. Back then, it was obviously just for entertainment, but today, it's dangerous misinformation. And the scary part is that the AI tech is moving faster than we are able to keep up. Apple Daily's fake news was so bad that it was almost funny. AI's fake news is so good that it's frightening. So why did I make this video? What's the point in talking about something so serious? Well, I guess it raised a few questions with me that I maybe don't have the answers to, but also because of my audience, I can put the questions out to you and we can discuss it in the comments section. There are some huge questions, such as if anything can be recreated as a video or an image or a sound or a voice, then how do we trust anything we see online? I don't have the answer, but when real and fake look exactly the same, who gets to decide what's true? I don't know. It's all down to the individual doing their own research. Which raises my final question: what happens to journalism if people stop looking for extra evidence and just believing everything they see at first glance? I guess, in a way, the Apple Daily 3D CGI recreations were a little bit of a warning to us that we didn't take seriously. They were the perfect demonstration of how to blur the line between storytelling and journalism. And now with AI and deepfakes, that line is not so much a blur as so much as it's disappeared altogether. So when we watch Apple Daily's silly CGI recreations of some big news events, it's hard not to think that the Apple Daily was not so much ahead of its time as it was predicting the future. But what started 15 years ago as a quirky experiment actually became an internet sensation, and in hindsight gave us a prediction or a glimpse into the world that we live in right now. If nothing else, the Apple Daily's videos taught us that people don't just want the news, they want the story. And today with AI, that story can be manipulated like never before. Which leaves me with one final question to ask you guys, and that's, if Apple Daily's animations were the joke, are we now living in the punchline? Pretty deep question, right? Certainly didn't get it from ChatGPT. And as well as being sponsored by Emma Mattresses, this video is partly sponsored by me, myself, and I. My British English course is online right now for you to go and start learning all about how to use British English in everyday life. A comprehensive British English course covering 10 different topics, lessons taught by me to you on how to use British English more confidently, more fluently, and more naturally. Again, there's a link in the description down below. Go check it out after you've bought yourself an Emma mattress. But I think that's pretty much it for this rather different style of video. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I really need it more than ever recently, as I'm getting a little bit more sick day by day. But I'm going to keep working hard, keep giving you guys videos as often as I can. So yeah, thanks so much for your support. Really appreciate it. But as for now, and as always, time to say goodbye. I'll see you next time in my life in Taiwan. Peace. Bye-bye.